When I first moved to Seattle right out of college, I had panic attacks every single night. I was super stressed. They say that moving is one of the top 5 stressful events of your life, and it is. And I was really, really super stressed and really, really exhausted and really, really tired, and I had lots of anxiety. So I had to learn ways to relax, and I had to learn ways to calm down a little bit and enjoy life more, because we all know that stress basically kills you slowly. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Some very easy ways to relax, in particular 4 easy ways to relax. But before we do that, as usual, I want to say hi to some people. So if you are on here, and just give me a shout out, tell me where you are from. Dana says, loving the humor used in Thrive. So much great info, but I can laugh too. Dana, you are very welcome. We spent a long time on that. Glad you enjoy it. Let's see, who else? Carrie, hello. Felicia, hello from Oklahoma. Anne, hi. Angela, hello. Lynette says, hi, friends. Hi, Lynette, how are you? Ontario and Texas, woot. And Toronto. And Rhode Island, in the UK. Norway, okay, you win the Norway and Scotland. You win the farthest away award. Can anybody beat Norway or Scotland? Lori doesn't get to beat it because she's from Seattle and we're from Seattle, so she gets closest award. Dana's saying, love it when you pop up in the fridge scene. I love that one too. If you haven't know what she's talking about our course Thrive for people with Asperger's. You can get it. Just go to our website, aspergerexperts.com. New Jersey and the big old New York City. Awesome. SoCal. Oregon? Yeah. Yes, Oregon counts. All right. So, thank you all for coming today. It is a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Tomorrow, by the way, we will be on for Asperger's Answers, and November 12th and 13th, San Francisco, California. Deep in Defense Mode Live. You do not want to miss it. You can go to aspergerexperts.com/workshop to get tickets for Deep in Defense Mode Live in San Francisco, November 12th and 13th. So, with that being said, we're talking about today about 4 easy ways to relax. We're talking about really some of my favorite ways to relax and enjoy life and get a lot less stress. Because what happens is when you're really, 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 really stressed out all the time, it just makes your life suck. You're in defense mode. It's not a good idea. So, today, 4 easy ways to relax. When we get back from the commercial break, we'll be delving into that. So I'll see you in just a sec.
Hi, I'm Rob Rady, and I am Danny's father.
I'm Ellen Rady, and I'm Danny's mom from Asperger Experts.
When Danny was growing up, it was challenging for the rest of us in the family because he didn't like to go places new, and he didn't like to try any new food.
We didn't have much information. I was able to get maybe a couple of books, and mainly with the definitions of what is Asperger's and the characteristics of Asperger's. But there weren't a lot of solutions. And I'm a solution-oriented person. I wanted a plan. I wanted things to do, ideas to make it better.
So it was a challenge to try to keep him moving in the right direction and try to keep the family sort of still operating the way we wanted it to operate.
And I didn't understand what was really going on, and that other parents and other children with Asperger's have experienced this same thing.
Today, Danny is a much different person.
You have no idea how exciting it is when Danny picks up the phone and says, Mom, I have something really important to tell you. And of course I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And he says, Mom, are you sitting down? I'm sitting down. Guess what? I just ate a sandwich with really good ciabatta bread, mozzarella cheese, olive oil, and this green thing called spinach. And it was delicious. It's like watching a kid experiencing life for the first time.
He's obviously a very successful person and business person, and is out in the world just thriving, and we couldn't be more pleased about that.
And welcome back. Today we are talking about 4 easy ways to relax. Some people in the comments over the break were saying this is like the perfect time for that. You know, it totally is. So we're going to start with something very, very easy, very simple. Meditation. Really just taking time for yourself in the day. Giving yourself 5 or 10 minutes and saying, okay, I'm going to take some time and be. You can learn transcendental meditation at tm.org, or you can get an app on your phone that helps you meditate, or you can just sit. Meditation isn't about trying to force your mind to be calm or anything. It's literally about just being with whatever there is. If a thought goes by, cool, a thought goes by. There's no like, you have to be clear your mind and sit absolutely still. That's not meditation. That's hard. Don't make it hard. Just be. If it's not easy, you're not doing it right. Literally giving yourself that time throughout the day to just be is one of the most essential things that you can do. And yet a lot of people don't. They're going to hear, yeah, meditation, and they're never going to do it. What happens if you actually did? What happens if you get out your phone and you pull out a meditation app and you start? Like, I saw a great comic the other day that was like, who wants change? And then there's a crowd of people with their hands raised, and then it's, who wants to change? And then like nobody has their hand raised. You know, the truth of reality is that unless you do new things, you're not going to get new results. So that leads me to the second one, hydrotherapy. Fancy word for saying hot tubs and baths and showers and steam rooms and saunas and all of that type of stuff. I found amazing benefit from just being in like a sauna for like 5 minutes, or just chilling in a hot tub, or even just taking a warm bath. Like, water has a way of just chilling you out like that. So if you're in sort of a spa space, if you're in a nice relaxing space, it makes everything just and so much easier. And third one, Bach flower essences. That is BACH flower essences. My favorite is Rescue Remedy. That's sort of the general one. But what happens is it's almost like an essential oil, but you just put it directly in your mouth or on your skin or wherever, and it immediately goes and calms you down. They are amazing. I swear by these things. BACH flower essences. I talk about them a lot because they are so magical. There are 38 of them, plus Rescue Remedy. My favorites are like oak and olive, which is essentially overwhelm and shutdown. So a lot of Asperger's things. Aspen's pretty good too. That's for vague fear. But the idea is each one sort of corrects an imbalance, and they bring you back to center. If you want to Google it, you can get all the information there is to know about it, but it is amazing stuff. And then finally, we have nourishment. What I mean by that is like gratitude. Like, take a minute and just think of something that you are grateful for. In fact, we're going to do that right now. We're going to take 30 seconds and just think of something that you're grateful for and feel that gratitude. Here we go. Did you notice that? Did you feel like you take a moment for yourself just to nourish yourself, to give yourself a little bit of gratitude? There are times when you don't need to rush. Go slow. Like, give yourself some space. Give yourself some time. Give yourself some attention. In the morning, I just like to drink some like really hot water, like almost boiling water, just like sip it like you would tea, and just like chill for like 5 minutes. Give yourself some time and some nourishment just to sort of calm and be there. That's one of the easiest ways to relax, is to not be so stressed. I know that sounds like, how do you relax? By not being stressed. But like literally, you just take time to give yourself that time and relax into it. and then things get a lot better. Sound good? Cool. So, questions, comments, concerns? My son now loves baths to the point of having 2 a day. Rachel, I have 2 a day a large portion of the time. Rescue Remedy is great, says Jenny. Yeah. Child won't bathe, says it's sitting in your own filth. Luckily, showers are fine. It's only sitting in your own filth if you're dirty. If you take a shower and you're clean, then you go take a bath, then you're clean. Can we get a written transcript? It's a lot easier for me to figure out something written out. Jacob, we have written transcripts of all of our courses and a lot of our YouTube videos. We aren't going to do written transcripts of these live shows simply because we produce so many of them. But any of our courses and any of our articles and any of a lot of our YouTube videos have transcripts or captions to go along with them. Julie says infrared sauna for detox. Absolutely. Saunas are great for detox because they make you sweat a lot and sweat out all the stuff. Yeah, swimming. Yeah, sure. Why not? Swimming. Whatever you want. I'm just giving suggestions here. These are not the only 4 ways to relax. These are just 4 ways to relax. And they're honestly 4 the easiest ways to relax that I know of. Well, somebody's just heart. Oh, okay, heart, back to you. Yeah. Louise says these are powerful tools to share. It's amazing you use these. Thank you for sharing. You are very welcome. Yeah, they're very simple tools to use. You just need to remember to use them. Lori says, do you have classes in Seattle? Soon we will. Soon we will have all sorts of video game meetups and classes and all sorts of fun stuff happen in our office in Seattle here. Can music help with stress? I usually listen to that when I'm stressed out. Absolutely. Music can totally help with stress. The bigger picture of stress is that on one hand, you want to do all the stuff to minimize the stress that you already have, but on the other hand, you also want to minimize things that cause stress. Think about it like if you have a leaky boat, you can't just bail out the boat because otherwise there's more water coming in. And you can't just plug the hole because you still have a boat full of water. You need to do both. You need to plug the hole where the stress is coming in, don't stress yourself out in the first place. And for those of you that watch Thrive, I talked a lot about this and talked a lot about stress is only bad for you if you think it is. There's a great TED talk called Reframe Your Thinking Around Stress about this. But you plug the hole, meaning you get rid of whatever's stressing you out and you learn not to be so stressed, and then you use all the techniques to bail out all the water, aka the stress that is already there, and then you just live a stress-free life. But you have to approach it from both of those angles. Rachel says he kept asking for a bigger bed, so we got him king-size bed. He slept for the first time all night Saturday. This is awesome. He's 16 now, haven't had a full night's sleep. He can't explain why it helps, but it does. I have a king-size bed, and it's awesome. And that's similar reasons. I just like having room to spread out, and it's nice. Let's see. What about swimming for hydrotherapy? Yeah, why not? Swimming for hydrotherapy is great. Anything that you're in water. There's really 2 types of hydrotherapy. There's just go be in water, whatever form that takes, and then there's actually the cycle of you get in a hot pool or something, and you get in a cold, then you go to a steam room and a sauna and then a cold plunge, and then you do the cycle of hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And what that does is it changes your body really quickly and cycles all your lymph to just sort of get everything flowing again. If you're going to do that, water. It will dehydrate you quicker than anything else. But it is amazing, amazing stuff if you are constantly drinking water as well. Crystal asks, how do you help a 10-year-old with Asperger's in a mainstream classroom setting while he's at school and stressed? It depends why he's at school and stressed. I would need a lot more information than that, but really the best thing that you can do is go attend our Defense Mode workshop or Defense Mode webinar, or even better, if you're in the Bay Area or willing to travel to the Bay Area, come join me on November 12th and 13th for Deep in Defense Mode Live. That is aspergerexperts.com/workshop. Carrie's asking for meditation apps I recommend. Omvana, Omvana. OMVAN as in nickel A. That is a great one by Mindvalley that I really like. Oh yeah, Lego for calming. So I have the Lego Shield Helicarrier. When it will be finished, it'll be literally 5 feet long, and the thing is massive. And I do that a lot of the time for Lego and relaxations. It's really fun. Do salt rooms help? Yeah. If you have a salt room, I try and give things that are easily accessible. Like by all means, if you have easy access to a salt room, go. But like a lot of the times, people don't just have a salt room in their backyard. So they generally do have a bathtub though. So that usually helps. Crystal, I'm not going to post a link to meditation apps, but if you just Google meditation apps, I'm sure you can find many. I like Omvana from Mindvalley. All right. Let's see. How do parents get teachers to understand a child with Asperger's? Understand them how so? Like that is, honestly, Dory, that's a really, really loaded question because there's a lot to that. Like, specifically have them watch our videos and talk with them and help them understand. I mean, it's a process. It's like, how do I get you to understand anything? That's like asking me, how do I understand how to cook? It's sort of outside the scope of this particular class, but understanding defense mode and then teaching the teachers about defense mode would be a great start. So here's what we're gonna do. Somebody's recommending Zentangle for apps as well. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we will be back and answering more of your questions. See you in a sec. When I was 13, a video game came out called Neverwinter Nights, and it was essentially a Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game, and that was my life. Whether I wanted to or whether I was just afraid of the world, that is what I did pretty much 24/7. I had friends there, I had a community there, I went on adventures there, I explored myself there through that video game. Not because I was addicted to video games, but simply because I felt so alone and disconnected from everyone and everything. What happened was, as I grew up, I felt like there was always an emergency brake that I had on. I could never really get to what I wanted, never really connect with who I wanted, never really do what I wanted, and it sucked. A lot. My parents and teachers, and they didn't really understand what I was going through at all. They tried to understand, but it really, really took a lot for them to even have a semblance of what was going on in my head. Meanwhile, I was locked down, I was shut down, I was disconnected, and they were trying to help, and what ended up happening is that they didn't really end up helping. A lot of the times I was just sort of ambivalent because they send me to a therapist. Okay, great, can I go play video games now? And that was my life. And then school eventually ended. And instead of going to graduation, I actually went to a video game orchestra concert. But after that, I'm in college, and I'm thinking, okay, how do I actually have a life that makes sense to me? How do I have a life where I can thrive? How do I have a life that I can wake up every day and say, I am excited to be alive, and not just, oh, it's another day of existence. So I spent the next few years of my life trying to figure that out and trying to find the answer. So today I have a life I could only have dreamed of back then. I have friends, I have great communities, I do what I love for a living, I get to travel and have adventures. I still play video games occasionally, but I do it for fun. Not because I have this gnawing emotional hole in me anymore. I don't feel like I have an e-brake on anymore. I feel like I can fully express myself, and best of all, the fear isn't there at all. This course is about how you can get to the same place. And welcome back. So we are taking more questions. We got one comment about medication and helping with relaxation, like anti-anxiety meds are a wonderful thing. I have been on them. The problem with literally all pharmaceutical medications is that they don't cure anything. They are a band-aid, a cover-up, a mask. The issue is still there, you just don't notice the issue or feel the issue anymore. So, they're great, but I see them as a short-term solution. Like, you take the anxiety meds so you aren't as anxious, so you can work on whatever the root of your anxiety is, understand it, release it so you don't have any more anxiety, and then you don't need to take the anxiety meds anymore. Please consult with a doctor before you do this. But the idea being that you could just stay on them your whole life, or if you actually do the work to get out of defense mode and be less anxious, then you get to a state where you don't need to take the meds anymore. So let's see what else is. Jenny's saying noise canceling headphones. Yeah, that can really, really help. Jennifer is saying, how do you motivate a child with Asperger's to take responsibility for themselves and not just make excuses for why I, as the parent, should do everything for him? He graduated high school and June is now stagnant and doesn't like leaving his room. Jennifer, you don't need to do everything for him. Like, he's saying you should do everything, you just go, no. It's like, where's dinner? Well, you haven't made it yet. Like, give him responsibility. And he will learn, he'll start to complain and complain and complain, but then eventually he'll learn, no, I actually need to do this because no one else is going to. Like, the extreme example of this was when we did a seminar in Seattle here last year. I had a parent ask essentially the same thing, but it's like, I have a 25-year-old who's still at home and isn't doing anything with their life and blames me for everything. It was a very similar story. And I go, okay, what does he do all day? Does he have like responsibilities? No, he's just in his room playing video games all day. And I, go up and bring him food, and I do his laundry and take care of him. I'm like, so he gets to do whatever he wants for fun all day, and he has a private chef and a maid. Do you know how many people work their entire lives to get to that point? And he's just already there? Why would he change? And then this look comes on her like, oh, yeah. One of the best things that you can do, Jennifer, is go through our launch course. Go onto our website, aspergerexperts.com, click on the launch course, that's under courses, and go through the launch course. It tells you exactly what to do after you get a kid is out of high school. How do you get them to live on their own and stop blaming people and all that? I mean, it's really, really in-depth and step by step by step. So that's the best help that I can offer you, is to get the launch course. Laura says, I don't want to fix him, he's the sweetest kid, but I do want to help him be able to function, deal with his emotions. And there's the idea right there. There's a distinction between fixing and helping and assisting in regulation. Like, if you come from that intent, then do it. Just help him, and you will help him in that way. If you come from a place of fix, it comes from anxiety. We're going to be talking about that later this week. Our Influence Circles course comes out on Friday. This is our new big course. And tomorrow I'll have a preview for you on that course. But this is our new big course about how you get somebody with Asperger's to do their homework, brush their teeth, or take a shower, or stop playing video games so much without bribing or manipulating or forcing them to do it. So, more on that tomorrow. Janice says, my grandson doesn't have Asperger's, but what you guys help a lot with is meltdowns, PTSD. In my opinion, Asperger's is almost a form of PTSD, so they're very, very similar. Rachel, what you're saying here is actually a very common thing. My son couldn't understand why he would need to do work at home that was schoolwork. So the school extended his school by half an hour, and he did it then. Worked so well. Yeah, sometimes they're like, no, I don't want to do schoolwork at home. Home is home, and school is school. And a very easy solution is to make home home and school school. A lot of people are just saying thank you. Well, you are very, very, very welcome. So, let's take one more question here. Let's see. My daughter can't regulate emotions. Today, she knew she had a EBT therapy all day. Threw a fit to get her in the car. Once the appointment was done, she was happy and told me she had a great appointment. How do I stop these fits before appointments that she knows about? Doreen, if you're not on our email list, join our email list, because Influence Circles is coming out on Friday. It's also going to be available on our Facebook page, but that's really the answer to this. We'll be sending out a series of videos and posting them on Facebook, but people on our email list get them sooner, that talk about influence circles and how do you influence somebody or get them to really do anything. So I can't really do that justice here because we have a 3-part free video series and the Influence Circles course coming out starting this Friday. So look for that in your email, and you said you're in it in the groups, and cool, you're gonna get that on Friday. So the answer's coming. My son fights with me all the time and is defiant everything and doesn't like no. He's homeschooled, he has bad anger and rage. I need some help. Can you help? Yes, I can help, Christy. Fighting requires 2 people. If he's yelling at you and you just refuse to fight, then it's not a fight. That's just him yelling at you. It sounds like you just need some parenting skills. The best thing I have to offer you is a book called... Sorry, the name just totally blanked on me. Kids Are Worth It by Barbara Coloroso. Start there, and then watch our Influence Circles series starting this Friday, because we're going to teach you about influence and how do you assist somebody in that way. Dana says, we found an organization coach for our boy, working well, now motivated. Yeah, coaches are an amazing, amazing way to really help and assist with life. Rachel says, can't wait for the next live. See you Friday. Thursday for the next live. Won't be doing live on Friday. We do live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But Influence Circles is coming out on Friday. And then we have the Influence Circles series coming out through the beginning of next week as well. That'll be on Facebook and email. So we're going to take one more break, and then I will be back answering a little bit more questions and telling you about all the fun speaking gigs and where we're coming up and all the new stuff coming out for Asperger Experts in the near future. So stay with me. I would like to officially invite you to join us in person for a weekend workshop we call Deep into Defense Mode Live. The next dates are November 12th and 13th, 2016 in San Francisco, California, February 11th and 12th, 2017 in Orlando, Florida, and May 20th and 21st in Los Angeles, California, and that is 2017 as well. You can get more details and register at aspergerexperts.com/workshop. We only have 50 spots available for each location. And the reason why I love this is because this is my opportunity to meet you in person, to help you understand what it is to be in defense mode and how to get out. And really, coach some people, help some people, interact with some people, have lunch with some people, dance with some people. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about gaining new experiences and new tools. So if you are wondering what it's like to be a part of the DITM Live seminar, watch this.
I'm Ty Miller, and I came out here with my son Austin, who has Asperger's. And what I perceived what was going to happen was it was just going to be instructions directly to my son Austin on things he can do or needs to do to improve, to make his life easier, both socially, academically. But what I learned were the tools that I need to obviously earn more of his trust, but the tools I've learned are going to help him as well as myself. But the most important thing is, he lives with us. He's in of course his home, our home, but I have learned some great tools that help me, that will in turn help him. And I see exactly how it's going to work. And this was a great seminar. I was pleased with everybody, and I highly suggest this to anyone, obviously with a child with Asperger's, but really it's just a great course for anybody. And that's it.
And welcome back. So let's take a few more questions here. Somebody was asking about why are these kids so resistant to taking and following advice. Simply put, honestly, a lot of times we just don't want your advice. Like, we want to figure it out on our own, and we want the space held to be able to do that. And if you constantly try and give advice, then we just back off further and further and disconnect further and further. I would back off and let them sort of flounder, and then eventually they'll say, okay, maybe I do actually need help. But they won't ever say that until you back off. It's a very interesting thing that I'm going to break down entirely in our Influence Circles video series that is coming out starting this Friday, as well as the Influence Circles course. So if you're not on our email list yet, go to aspergerexperts.com/join to join our email list to get notified of that as well. All right. Alyssa says, my son acts out when he is feeling uncomfortable in social situations. He knows what the outcome will be to his action, anger, but he can't always anticipate the reaction in the situation, anger, etc. I realize this, but not sure how to help him work through it. Alyssa, get him out of defense mode. Like, it sounds like he's having struggles in defense mode. If you don't know what that is, go to aspergerexperts.com/free class or join us in San Francisco, LA, or Orlando for Deep in Defense Mode Live. That's aspergerexperts.com/workshop. Christy says this is so true because my son does that. If I ignore it and back away for a few moments, then he comes and asks. Yeah, it literally, back away, give them space, and they will. If you continually try and smother, you'll never, ever, ever, ever get it. And they will continue to suffer because they need space and you're never giving it to them. Am I clear enough with that? Should I be clear? Watch the Influence Circles video series that we have coming out starting on Friday. I get a lot more clear in that. Sandra says, I didn't get to finish my last post. She will stay up until late in the hour at night and refuses to get up for school in the morning. Repeat this cycle every day. How do we break this cycle? Understand, why is she staying up so late and then refusing to go to school? If you communicate with her and you understand what is going on here and what are the deeper underlying issues, then you can help co-create a plan to move forward from there. Another course we have coming out soon is all about expectations and communications and how to set proper expectations, make sure that those people follow through on those expectations, and then how to establish good communication structures and rules. Troy says, come to Australia. I would, it's expensive. Unless you want to, pay for me to come to Australia and pay for all the staff that we need to come to Australia and do all that stuff, then yeah. I mean, it's not something that's easily feasible for us right now. Adonis just said that, just joined. What did I miss? A lot. Go watch this once it's on our Facebook page. Once it's recorded, it'll be on Facebook and YouTube when we're done. Sherry says, yes, Luis, we do all this. He's safe with us. I tell him he should be proud of who he is, but he wants to be accepted in the world. So what you can do is accept him in the world. Everyone else doesn't need to. Start with you. Start with accepting him in the world. I'm just, my decision was, screw it, I'm just going to build a new world because there's a lot of people that just like, I don't like the culture I live in. But that's an entirely different conversation, of which we will have soon, and we'll talk about when we have our school open. Oh, yes, I did to say that. Dropping little hints around. Yeah, Dee Dee says, Sherry, support your own self-esteem, model good self-esteem. He will pick up clues for you. Yeah, he will. Is forgetfulness part of autism? My son, when asked what he did yesterday, he says he always can't remember. It can be. It's not necessarily a particular part of autism, but it may be that he just doesn't care to remember. Lori says, my daughter has Asperger's and anxiety, refused to drive even though she went to driver's ed and got a permit. Any suggestions? Does she need to drive? I don't drive, but I'm 26 and I still haven't learned to drive yet because I live in the middle of downtown Seattle, but give her space. Like, literally, okay, if you don't want to drive, that's cool. If you live out in the country somewhere, like, I'm not going to drive you everywhere, but if you don't want to drive, then fine. Stay home or walk places or ride a bike or call friends. If you want to learn to drive, great. If you don't want to learn to drive, don't expect me to compensate for your lack of willingness. Does that make sense? You're welcome to not drive if you want, but don't expect me to compensate for your lack of willingness. That really applies to anything. So, okay, I think that is, we'll call it a day here. Tomorrow we will be on and we are going to do taking some questions from the Asperger's, from our I'm just mincing words all over the place, from our Facebook group. So that will be tomorrow, and we will be talking about when family doesn't get it, what do you do? What do you do with therapists that actually destroy hope and tell you that your kid isn't going to do anything? And computer obsessions, what do you do about that? So that is tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. And I sincerely hope that you'll join us for Deep in Defense Mode live in November 12th and 13th in San Francisco, California. There are still a few tickets left. So thank you all so much. You have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.